of you in the chat already putting his name. He is also going to be over here and he will be walking you through this entire world of AI. So it's exciting day one that we have planned for all of you guys. Before we begin, again, a very important disclaimer that we have. A lot of people keep asking. So even before you guys ask, even before this becomes a repetitive question, no recordings will be provided. You are expected to be over here. You're expected to be a part of this learning journey. And since you're over here, we will not be providing any recordings. You will have to be here present. You can take notes. You can take screenshots. You can do whatever it is required for you to keep all this information intact with you. But recordings will not be provided. Certificate, a lot of people ask about that, so I thought let me also cover that. For those people who will stick till the end of the training, you guys will earn your certificate. This is not something that I'm providing. This is not something that Outskill is giving. This is something that you guys will have to earn, but it is only for people who will successfully complete the entire mastermind with us. Few tips before, to make the best out of this training. Number one, as I told you, since there are no recording, take notes, screenshots. You can use the AI companion that the Zoom is giving. You can chat with it and ask questions in case you have missed something or you want the information to be repeated again. Second, very important, have trust and patience. Like I told you, we have trained more than 11 million people across the globe. We have done multiple iterations of this. So we know what is the best that we can do in terms of providing information and value for you. And sometimes it might become overwhelming and faster. Sometimes a few of you might feel that it's like a little slow, right? But have trust and patience. We know what we're doing. We have done this multiple times, and trust me, we will give you the best possible experience and learning in the next couple of days. Two things in the chat with respect to chat: be very respectful and kind. A lot of hard work, energy, and a lot of people are over here, so we don't want people to spam and put unnecessary messages in the chat. That's the reason, in fact, you can see that the chat is being moderated. Sometimes it's for everyone, sometimes it's not. We will talk about that as well, right? Most important thing, challenge yourself, because there will be a lot of things that we will do which is new, which you have not done before, which you have not seen before. It might feel very overwhelming, but again, the whole point, the reason why you guys are over here is because you have signed up to learn. So challenge yourself, even if it's something new, it's something different, something out of your comfort zone. Push yourself a bit, because that is what you guys are here for. At the end of the day, you will learn a lot of cool things, a lot of interesting and important things that you can use right from the go. Perfect. As you know, again, the webinar chat will be monitored. Sometimes it will be open for everyone, where we want all of you to tell where you're from or answer a certain question. Otherwise, it is set to host and panelist, which means all the messages that you guys are typing, it is visible to us because we are the host and panelist. But your other fellow, teammates will not be able to see. Other co-learners will not be able to see. The reason, very simple, we don't want a lot of spam to happen. And we also want you to focus on the class rather than look at what messages are coming over here. At the right time, whenever we want the chat to be open, we will make it open for you so that you can drop in your messages. Otherwise, do not worry. We have an entire operations team who's sitting. We are reading your, also respond back to them. The second way that we will communicate, all of you are already doing it, but just let me tell you that you have an option where you can react with emojis. There are a few emojis which are already available. If you're liking something, do drop in a clap. If you love something, drop in a heart. If you're enjoying the process, if you're smiling along with us, drop in a smile emoji, a celebration emoji when you have learned something insanely mind-blowing and something insanely cool. You can use all these things so that we know, how the vibe is, how the flow is, how you guys are with us or not. Accordingly, we will make changes in the way we teach, in the way we pace the entire structure. And in case you find this reactions to be a little disturbing, because I know it pops up off your screen and it might not be comfortable for everyone, you have the option to shut it down completely, or you can put it to medium. All that you have to do is click on the up button, which is there on React, full, medium, hidden, choose whatever is comfortable for you. I don't want you guys to get disturbed. I want you guys to give in 200% of your focus and attention on the learning part of things, and make the most out of the 2-day mastermind that we have. I truly believe that these 2 days are going to impact your life, the way you think, the way you work, the way you act. Everything is going to change just within 2 days, right? Now, while most of you are super motivated right now, I can see from the chat, in fact, you guys can see from the chat the kind of energy, the kind of flow of messages that we're getting, right? You are motivated right now, but trust me, it is a matter of time because there will be a lot of cognitive overload. I'm just repeating this again because I want you guys to be prepared. I want you guys to be mentally ready for what you've signed up for, right? At times, you will tell yourself that you have learned enough and you don't need any of these learnings anymore. Or you will make yourself believe that you can do it later, right? Probably you will let a lot of distractions take control of what is going to happen. And trust me, if you were to want to move out of the Zoom call, it is just 2 clicks. It's very simple that you can go away. But I don't want this to happen. I'm telling you all these things because if at all you feel like this, if you come across situations like this, I want you to tell yourself that no, I'm going to stick. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to learn everything that is there to offer over here. Not everyone has everything that it takes to win, but I truly, truly want every single person in this call to win. And if you are going to be a winner, if you're going to be a winner, in the chat, drop in a winner. And I want this to go for everyone because I want this energy to be contagious. I want everyone to spread the positivity and the energy that you guys have to everyone. Put a message to everyone and drop in winner in the chat. I want to see every single person drop a message winner in the chat. Loving this energy, guys. Loving this energy. But again, promise me that you will keep all this energy intact till the end of this entire mastermind. Carry some, I know, put some snacks right next to you. Have some tea, coffee, some juice, whatever makes you energetic. Keep sipping, keep hydrated. But do stay, do not drop because I want every single person who said winner in the chat to win and to stay till the end of this entire mastermind. Loving this energy, loving this energy. Awesome. Before we go ahead and meet the first mentor, it's also important for you to understand uh, why we are doing what we are doing. There are lots of AI coaches who just randomly come in, they talk about a couple of tools, and they think that that is AI, right? We don't want to do that. If we're teaching you AI, we also want to tell you where to use, where not to use, how to use, how not to use, why not to use. That, in fact, makes us one of the most unique programs that we have. And in fact, that is the reason why we are the most loved program with a consistent 4.8 CSAT, right? So let me take a few minutes, 5-10 minutes for you to put context around of what things is, what generative AI has done so far. And then we will move ahead with the first mentor of the day. Now, I can see two kinds of people over here. There are entrepreneurs, there are working professionals. We ran a poll, you guys filled it. Thank you so much for filling. In case you have not filled it, do fill it. That gives us a good idea as what kind of mix of people we have, what proportion of people we have, and we will try to address every single person over here in the way we teach, right? Now, I also know, and I know for a fact, there is a third subset of people over here, and I call them hustlers who are doing both. They have a job, but they're also doing something on their own in the side. How many hustlers in the call? Drop in hustler in the message, in the webinar chat that we have if you're a hustler. All right. A lot of hustlers, lot of hustlers. It's open for everyone. I can see a lot of you are sending messages to host and panelists, which means others cannot read. If you want to put it to everyone, do change it. Lovely. Grinder, hustler, winner, loving it. Yes. Now, what does it mean? What does generative AI, the change in generative AI, what does it mean to all of us? Right? Let's talk about the working professionals now. Scary times, right? Because everywhere we go, everywhere you look around, everywhere you see, this is what people keep telling, this is what people keep talking. Articles, newspapers, everything says that AI will take 4 out of 5 jobs. How many of you believe this? Drop in a number. What do you think? How many jobs out of 5 will AI take? It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you think it is. But just drop in over here. So I'll get an idea as to what you guys are thinking. Okay. I think average is somewhere around 3, 3.5. A lot of people saying 1, 2, but I think I have more number of people saying 4. A couple of, in fact, good number of people saying 5, 5 out of 5 is not possible, but yeah. Okay. All right. Now, the reason why I'm asking you this question now is because we will come back to this question once we look at the true potential of AI. And I want to see if you guys will still have the same answer, or if you guys will change your answer looking at what AI has already done in this world. I'm not talking about the future. We will show you the present power of what AI is, and then we will ask this question again to you. I want to see the answers again, see if there's a difference. And in fact, you can, keep track of what your answer is and see if your thought process has changed just by spending some time with us, right? All these things that we're talking about, right? Intel, Microsoft, the biggest companies, Google, AMD, Dell, just name it. Everywhere there is a loss of job. Now, this is a survey done by Microsoft. It is available for everyone. It is in the public. You guys can have a look at that as well. It talks about what are the most likely jobs to be replaced by AI, and what are the jobs that are least likely to be replaced by AI, right? You can see the top is the most likely. You have sales reps and service, that's a huge chunk. You have customer service representatives, you have telephone operators. These are all huge chunks of people, right? And the list is there, publicly available. Do go spend some time to look at it. Again, this is not something that I'm making up. This is something which Microsoft has researched with a lot of people across the globe, and this is what they have come up with. Now, a lot of people, we are talking about AI will replace jobs, but what in AI will replace jobs? Who in AI will replace jobs? Your answer is over here. 80% of the work will be taken up by AI agents. When I'm talking about AI, we're talking about AI agents, right? Now, what are these agents? AI agents have, superhuman speed, superhuman accuracy of completing a task again and again and again. And these agents work 24/7. These agents will work without taking a leave. These agents will work without appraisal. Agents will work tirelessly with insane accuracy 24 by 7. So it's a no-brainer for anyone to replace when you can have an opportunity to replace a lot of work to be done by AI agents. And this is where most of the jobs will get automated and most of the people will be asked to move out of jobs. But as we have seen over and again, like multiple times in this history, we have seen technologies come, we have seen technologies evolve, we have seen loss of jobs, but we've also seen the lot of rise in new jobs every time that happens. The same will happen this time as well. There will be new jobs that will come into the market. And what will these jobs look like? These jobs will look like AI generalist. Who is an AI generalist? Again, it's in very simple English. These are people who solve problem using AI. That's very simple way of explaining who an AI generalist is, right? But if you go deep down, AI generalists are people basically who have great and deep understanding of all the AI models that we have, not just the tools. I'm talking about the AI models. I'm talking about LLMs. I'm talking about closed source, open source. Do not worry if you do not understand a few of the terminology that I'm using over here right now. We will take enough time to walk you through all these things, right? There are also people who understand which model to use, how, and where. This is very important because you should know what to use where, what not to use as well. Because all, like everything, technology is also a double-edged sword. You should know where to use, where not to use. And they have the ability to build solution and solve complex problems using AI. And this is the kind of jobs which will be on the rise. In fact, they're already on rise. A core specialist, they are the kind of roles that we have been doing so far. I am a marketer, I am a product guy, I am a tech guy, right? We always specialized in one and we had a very basic understanding of what others are. But with AI coming into picture and the way it democratized the entire learning experience, the way people can do things using AI, this is how an AI generalist will look like. They are master of one and jack of all. You can't be like master of one and you can't just expect to be the same guy anymore because the things have changed. The way you can do output has changed, not just learning. And thanks to AI, this is all possible for us right now. Now, for different people over here, again, I see most of the people over here have 15 plus years of work experience. That's the majority that we have over here. What does it mean? People with experience 10 to 20. Trust me, we will be the one who will be impacted the most. I fall in this bucket as well, and I'm equally worried as all of you are. Why? Because People with experience come with a lot of expectation in terms of salary. We are the most costly resources that the companies have in most cases, right? And all the information that we have learned in the last 15, 20 years is something that all LLMs now have with them. So you do not need as many senior managers as you rightly currently have. You will still need, of course, you will still need a lot of them, but that number has drastically reduced to a very, very few. So this bucket of people, it's going to be the most scary time. And for those who will win in this world of AI, you will become the AI strategist. You will think strategy, you will build directionally how my company will grow using AI, where to use AI, how to use AI, where to implement, do the cost benefit analysis of AI. Every single thing of AI strategy is what you will end up doing. For people who are in between 3 to 9 years of work experience, you will become the AI generalist who will actually build things, who will actually do things with AI in the guidance of the people who have experience. That is the next subset of people that we have. And the last set of people, the young workforce who just started working, crazy, insane times ahead of you. You have the flexibility to do whatever you want to. You can become the AI generalist and take the route of becoming an AI expert or a consultant, or you can start your own company. The times have changed. Everything has changed. You guys have everything ready for you, whereas we had to work hard for 10, 15 years to get all the information that we currently have, right? Very, very interesting times, very exciting times. You guys can choose your path. Thanks to AI, it has made things easy for you again. Now, this is how companies have been operating so far. This again, when I tell all these things, again, this is not things that we made up. All these are publicly available information. This is from the World Workforce Economic Forum that we have. So you guys can have a look at this as well, right? Typically, this is how the companies work. We have ultra generalists like your CXOs and all, and then you have hyper specialists like director of marketing, director of this, the head of VP of tech, so on and so forth. And you had a lot of people working in their teams along with them. That is typically how companies look like in the past, but the shift has already happened. This is how the future is going to look like. You have very few ultra generalists on the top. Everyone who is AI enabled can think AI, can do AI, can act AI. And a lot of people will be replaced by AI agents, the same agents that we spoke about some time back. Right? This is the scenario, guys. I'm not talking about future. I'm again talking about the present. All these things are changes which has happened. And this will tell you why it is important for you to do every single thing that we have covered in the next couple of days, that we have planned to cover in the next couple of days. Right? Now, the biggest opportunity, by the way, is for people who are in consulting. I'm talking about AI consulting, right? A lot of smart people have done that. They're not really talking about it, but this is what I'm talking about. People who know AI and people who know or understand business. Trust me, this intersection of people is very, very small at this point in time. But the demand that we have, super, super high, right? Because at the end of the day, all the problems that we are solving is a business problem, right? You're using AI to make yourself more efficient, to be profitable, to reduce your cost. And if you have this combination, you have this rare arbitrage window at this point in time. Eventually, this window will not really last long because more people will get upskilled on AI. A lot of people will also learn business over a period of time. So your unfair advantage will not last for long. But if I'm talking about today, you have an unfair advantage, and these people are getting disproportionately high payments. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure you know people in your contacts, or you've heard of people who are doing AI consulting. They've just quit their job. They started their companies. They're consulting other firms and building solutions on AI. You know them. You're seeing people around you. This is an insane opportunity that is currently available. For all the entrepreneurs and hustlers who are there in the call, right? You already know how the future of teams will look like. So you will also have to build your company like this. You have to be AI centric. You have to think AI in future and start building AI using AI, right? And honestly, there is no better time for you to be an entrepreneur or a hustler at this point in time, trying to do something on your own than what it is today. What has changed? The time from an ideation to launch has reduced. The time from launch to making your first million has reduced, and first million to unicorn has reduced. Every single thing has reduced drastically. In a few months, in fact, in a few months, companies are becoming unicorns, which earlier used to take a few decades, right? Probably a couple of decades, or one of the fastest growing companies will still take a decade. But today, I'm talking about months that you can become a unicorn. And you've seen, I'm not talking about it, you've seen a lot of companies actually do that as well. All these changes are there. So this is the best time for you to be an entrepreneur or a hustler trying to do something you want to, right? You can scale your business without scaling cost. And it doesn't matter whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a hundred, company, a small size company, or a late stage company. It doesn't really matter. You just have to find the right fitment of AI in your processes, in your work that you're doing, implement it to the best possible extent, and it will give you a lot of unfair advantage over everyone, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is Sam Altman and Alexis who are talking. In fact, let me just play this video. It's pretty interesting. Hope you guys are able to listen to the sound as well. Do let me know in the comments. Highly perform. This is what we're talking about. 10% billion dollar company. And in fact, Sam Altman with his other tech CEOs are betting as to when you will see the first one-person billion-dollar company. And none of these is something that we even thought is remotely possible before AI. And that is how AI has already changed the world. If you have already changed a part of the change, insane. If not, you're in the right place. We're going to start changing right from the go. All right. So basically, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a hustler, or you're a working professional. The world has changed. You have to change. You have to start thinking AI first. You have to start acting AI. You have to become a part of AI. And for you to become an AI generalist, for you to become ready in this world of AI, what is it that you have to do? What is it that you have to learn? Now, this is a roadmap that we have created. We are putting a structure so that it is easy for you to understand where to start, how to start, where to go, what to learn, so on and so forth. At this point in time, yes, feel free to take a screenshot of all these things. We have 5 different levels in which we have segregated this. Level 1 is the foundations of AI, understanding what AI is, context engineering, prompt engineering, tools, LLMs, open source, closed source, a lot of things, right? Number 2 is workflow architect, where I'm not using one AI tool for one job. I'm using multiple AI tools and creating a workflow to get the kind of desirable outcome that I want. That using multiple AI tools is the sauce, guys. Let me tell you. Once you start using this, the kind of outcome that you see is so incredibly powerful, and that is your level 2. Level 3 is the creators playground, where we're talking about image, video, because that is an industry which is super impacted after AI has come into picture. You should know what is happening and you should be able to make a difference as well. Number 4, the agent builder. We spoke about AI agents. It's not just about understanding and working with agents, it's also about building your own agents. How do I do that? That's level number 4. Level number 5 is vibe coding, where you can build solutions, where you can build products, you can build apps, you can build anything that you want to using AI and without a single line of code. These are the 5 levels that we have put over here, but take a screenshot for now. We will spend enough time. We will tell you what all these things is. We will go deep down into all these levels so that you will understand what all these things mean. So do not worry about it. This is only for you to give a directional understanding as to where we'll start and how we will, structure this entire learning process as well. Hope you guys have taken a screenshot. Keep it with you, but we will revisit this again. Yeah. Now, becoming AI generalist is a journey, and the toughest part is going from zero to one because that's where the change happens. And this is what we are here to do in the next couple of days. Are you guys ready to transition into an AI generalist? In the chat, drop in drop in a message if you are ready. Let's go with a yes, let's go with a boom, let's go with whatever crazy thing that you can come up with, but keep the energies high and make it contagious. Let's go. That's insane. All right. Perfect. Let me just turn off the chat. Cool. Here's the time where I will be introducing your mentor for the first session. As I told, this mentor is someone who is working at Microsoft. He is an AI ML expert. He's worked with AI for so long. He's built a lot of things on AI. So we did not, or we could not think of anyone better to teach you what AI is from the foundations than your first mentor. So drop in a welcome message to Divij in the chat. Once I see enough number of people welcoming Divij, I will hand over the platform to him. Drop in a welcome energy. In fact, I want you guys to show all the energy that you have because David should know what he's getting into. David should know what kind of a crazy, insane crowd that we have. You guys have lovely so far. The energy is unmatched. I've seen so many cohorts, but this cohort's energy is next level. So I also want David to get a taste of what it is. Hi, David. How are you?
Hey, hi Priyatam. Good evening. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Awesome, David. You can look at the chat. You can look at this crowd. We have an insane, lovely set of audience today.
Amazing.
I will leave all the audience to you, and you can do what you do the best. Walk them through what AI is.
Perfect. I think all of people are really excited. I think they were, I was looking at the chats when you were rolling out the level 1 to level 5. So I think all of you are pumped up now to get started with our level 1. So let me quickly share my screen and I'll share my journey as well while going through the slides, and then we will start our session. Just quick tech check. Can you see my screen? If I get a quick thumbs up or anything in the chat. Can you all see my screen? Perfect. Amazing. Amazing. So I'll just put it in a slideshow mode. I think this is already covered, right? But I would like to focus on 2 points. So you will be getting, I mean, all the materials, plus you can take a screenshots, but I want you to have your pen and paper, not to write everything, right? Whatever I am speaking, just to make a pointers. So that after the session, you can go back what tools I was mentioning, how I did that, all the prompts, everything like resource wise will be shared. So don't worry about that and have your cup of coffee. I'm also having one so that we can all have our undivided attention for next 2 hours, right? So we'll learn and go into the depth of understanding the fundamentals, right? Because this is why it is important. I'll tell you also. Level 1 is important because this is your fundamentals. If that becomes strong, you can learn all the levels. If that is weak, you will not be able to understand much better in your other levels, right? Level 2, level 3, because everything is basic starting from here, right? So let's start with this. Now, about my journey. So I did my bachelor's as most of the folks do that, right? So I'm an engineer by profession. I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication, and I was very much passionate about IoT devices and playing around these two mini hand devices. Can anyone tell me the name? Okay, name is already there, but yeah, you can guess that, right? So I was already playing around Arduino and Raspberry Pi, and I have worked with Air India for a very short stint as an IoT engineer over there. We were, I mean, we were managing petabytes of data points that are coming to us. And at that moment, I thought, why not to go and pursue my master's, right? It was back in 2017, I'm talking about. So I went on to doing my master's full time in AI and machine learning, did a lot of competitions, did a lot of hackathons, and finally started working as a data and applied scientist at VMware. And I worked there for almost 2 years, built the legacy machine learning models, right? So I have seen that shift, and I'll be sharing that with you also in our slides today, that how Everything was already there, right? I mean, if you ask this question to me that is there something new happening in AI or the type of use cases, my answer would be no. But how it is happening, that is yes. That has completely changed, right? Drastically changed how we used to build the machine learning, deep learning model, and that thought process I'll be sharing with you in our further slides. But yeah, that transition from AI to generative AI, right? That is where the term was coined back in 2022 when first time ChatGPT came in the market, right? So I have witnessed that change, and with that, currently I am working with Microsoft in the Microsoft M365 Copilot team, where my team or my role is specifically on the building of Teams product, right? The Teams app. So I'm part of that group. We are building a lot of AI solutions, a lot of new features are getting launched in that Copilot. I hope a lot of you folks are already using the Copilot, right? So you already have the access to that in your respective organizations. And so that is all about me. And yeah, I have been with Microsoft almost now around 4.5 years. And with that, I think we can get started. But something I'll share, right? Because this is core at my heart, or you can say passion, the hackathons, right? And it got continued from college days in the corporate also. And they are very special when it comes to Microsoft. Why? Because you have entire 1 week of building the entire product, or you have to work on the problem statement, which is not your regular project work, right? So it's kind of a very good, you can say, bond. We are on office for late hours. We are sleeping in office. I have done that, and we have built. This was my first AI product, Edu.ai, which we built, scaled, and now it is being called as Shiksha Copilot, right? It is already integrated. Millions of students are using across Teams, like Teams platform. So you can just Google search about Shiksha Copilot. It is being piloted mostly in India, in Bangalore region, where a lot of schools already have, right? It's non-for-profit, so government schools are already using this. Right. So with that, I hope all of you are now excited, and I'm here to share my learnings, how I am very much excited about this space AI, and how we build this solution, right? From the engineering perspective, from an data and applied scientist perspective, how we build these models. I'm sharing you the side over here on the application side, how you can also build your own AI products. So let's get started and understand what is Gen AI, how does it work, like starting from the scratch. I know most of you folks might be knowing, but we have to cover all the fundamentals so that all of us, right, all the audience present in today's session are on the same page. Now, I'll just focus on this definition and quickly we'll jump into understanding the LLM part. But this is the type of artificial intelligence, right? So as I talked about that, we already have AI, which is, I would say, the term AI itself is from 1960s, right? It's not new or it has been coined in early 2000. No, it is very old term. Already, a lot of things were happening inside AI. But generative AI, which is the branch under my AI, was a new term or it got coined, right? And what it generally means, it has now capability of generating original content, right? So the main focus here is original content. And why I'm saying original? Because it has learned all the patterns from our data. Now it can generate new images or new text, new videos, anything like that. Right. So this is as good as saying, I mean, I will connect with human psychology or human learning, how human learns, right? How our intelligence works. So, for example, if I give you any particular topic or any particular subject, let's say chemical engineering, right? I have never studied chemical engineering throughout my life uh, in depth. So, let's say I want to go into and read about it and learn more about one particular subject in chemical engineering and have to present it, right? So, what will be my learning resources? I'll go to internet, I'll take some books, I'll connect with the folks who are expert in this particular field. I'll take my knowledge from that, try to absorb it, and when I'm delivering it, I'll not be using exact word to word, right? I'll be using my own thinking, I'll be using my own examples, my own analogies. But who was the source? All the books, all the blogs, all the teachers or mentors who were there, that were my resource. Same is with AI. All the internet is their resource, everything takes, but now it has the capability to generate something which is very new and they have never seen, right? So that is what generative AI is all about. And quickly, I'll get this clutter out of your mind, right? You are flooded with Lot of AI tools, right? There is this is happening, that is happening. But if I want to make it structured, this is the slide that it gets interested, right? I mean, it become interesting, and how you can remove that all clutter out of your mind. So now, what AI is doing ultimately, right? Where AI is positioned, I will tell you in three scenarios, and you will be able to understand, right? End to end. So just listen it carefully. What exactly we meant by a lot of AI tools coming in and where they are being positioned. Just ask this question, or I'll give you the example. What are the different ways of communicating on this planet? Right? On this planet Earth, let's say, what are the different ways of communicating or giving information to someone else sitting around the corner, anywhere in the world, right? Let's take example. If I want to convey, let's say, maybe information 50% off on Adidas, right? This is the information I want to pass it to every one of you who are present in this call. I can send you a text message on the WhatsApp, right? There is 50% off on Adidas. You got this information. I can send you an image, right? Where 50% off written, there is a brand logo of Adidas. You got the same information. Third, I can send you a voice message, right? I can send you a voice message on WhatsApp that there is 50% off going on Adidas. You will get the same information in either of these three mediums. Think it loudly. There is no fourth way of communicating. If you can think it of, comment me in the chat. I would love to know, but there is no other way, right? I mean, people can think it of videos, right? All of that, or maybe something else is happening. Broadcast is also something of video, right? Email is writing. People are saying letter. Letter is also a handwriting text, right? Text. Ultimately, it will be text, audio, or it will be an image. Videos and images are part of same thing. Why? Because when you see images, right, or when you see videos, there is something called frames per second. So when we decode that language of videos, it's 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second. So that means 30 images are being rendered in 1 second, right? So that is ultimately, we call it as, this is videos and images are falling under my same bucket. And that is what was happening when I talk about machine learning and deep learning, right? So it was already happening. I mean, we have a lot of use cases in machine learning when we were building, like your Gmail inbox, right? Your email gets classified whether it should go to your inbox or whether it should land to your spam. Based on what? Based on text. You have deep learning, right? You have image classification. Your image is getting classified whether the object is cat or a dog. You have text classification. You have audio related application. It was already there. Everything was happening in three dimensions: text, image, and audio. Now, when generative AI came in, right? When the first time in November 2022, ChatGPT came in with the advent of large language models, the smallest circle out there, people started recognizing that I mean, just not only classify the existing text, we can generate it also, right? We can make the learned patterns output as a new text from these models. That's where the LLM came in. And images model are not part of my LLM. Can anyone tell me in the chat very quickly, what is a categorization of images model, right? Which you will be learning, by the way, in your further sessions. But yeah, I'll describe about LLM. But do you know what is the category of your image models, right? CNN is the architecture, but this is not. I mean, I haven't got an answer so far. No, right? CNN is the architecture, but yeah, diffusion model. I got the answer. Yes, right. So category wise, it is known as diffusion model. LLMs, right? A lot of people were asking, what is LLM? LLM is large language model. All your chat GPT, all your Geminis, all your Grok, whatever application, right? Claude, whatever application we use for text generation, wherever text comes in, right? Because it's a language. So name itself suggests large, because they are very large in size. Why they are large in size? Because we have feeded lot of training data. You can imagine entire internet data has been fed to your chat GPT like system, right? So it has seen the entire internet. That is why this is large. They are trained on language related task. because they have seen all the languages, right, with the training data. So they are language and they are models. So LLMs mostly deal with my text-based models, right? So it's a subset of my entire generative AI, which focuses on my language-related tasks, right? So this is what large language models look like, or you can say the definition of LLMs is this. Now we will understand how do the magic happens, right? A lot of times you are already using Chat GPT now from quite a long time. How does it infer my input so I get a very best response or to the point response? I mean, whatever you ask on whatever topic, it has the answer to be outputted. So what is the mechanism or fundamentals of my large language model? How do they work? Let's decode the black box and understand, right? This is just for understanding purpose. Since you are using the technology, since you are using Gemini, you are using Chat GPT, you are using other models like Claude, you should know how LLM works at the backend, right? So that you can work smarter, right? Work smarter or work in a smarter way. You can put your instructions in a very good format if you know how it works at the backend. Now, so let's say you are using ChatGPT, right? So I will be using the word large language model and ChatGPT interchangeably. So ChatGPT is your LLM, right? LLM is a major categorization. So what happens when you input something on ChatGPT, right? Let's decipher that. Let me take an example so that we can understand, right? So if I go here, if I type anything, right? Let's say I ask this question only, explain me about LLM, right? I gave this quick query to the chat GPT and it has come up with my technical definition that LLM stands for large language model. It's an AI system trained to understand and generate human language. You have all these models category. How do they work, right? You see something called tokens, which is my next step, by the way, architecture and all that. This is completely a technical definition, right? If I want to explain it to a 5-year-old kid, right? I want to make an understanding of LLM to a 5-year-old kid. If I show this response, it will go bouncer, right? Now let's see if I tweak this, how the magic happens, right? So this is what we want to learn. You ask anything, what does model do at the backend? What are the steps it take? And it's merely 5 steps, right? It's merely 5 steps. You need to understand what happens, how the magic, how it decodes it, and start giving me the output, right? This is what we want to learn. So let's take 5 steps. The step one is my tokenization, right? This is the example I will be taking. The very first step is tokenization. Now, what you have to do as a learner, you have to ask 2 questions on each and every slide, on each and 5 steps. Why we have to do, how we have to do, right? 2 questions, ask it, maybe take a pointers, I'll be explaining you, right? First step, tokenization. What it means, breaking down of my text into smaller tokens. Now, why we have to do and what happens? Let's see practically, right? So I'll open the tokenizer library just to visualize it for you, right? So that it makes sense for you to get the understanding what are the fundamentals it is happening, right? So if I type this, explain me about LLM, even the question mark, right? You can see that model has broken my sentence into these tokens, which we call it as, I mean, this unit, right? Each and every word is known as tokens, right? So you can see 6 tokens, even your spaces, even some patterns, even your question mark, everything will be counted as your token. So there is a lot of algorithmic side of it, mathematics side of it, but we don't need to go into mathematics, right? Not equation. So you understand that roughly, right? This is the roughly that my 100 tokens is equivalent to my 75 words. Now, why it is important? Why does model do this? I'll tell you 2 reasons, right? The very first reason, think logically, the language of computer. If I ask you, right, what is the language of computers? I mean, or in general, whatever we do on the internet, what is the language? Yes, it's binary, right? A lot of people are answering it's numbers. Computer understand numbers, right? I mean, they deal with numbers. So everything has to make sense in terms of number. So model is not looking at your this text, it is looking at a sequence of number, right? So model doesn't know any language, right? Doesn't know what explain means or what is this particular word means. It is looking at this sequence which is always there for this sentence, right? That means explain will always be there at this particular token number. It will convert it to binary in the next step, but right now the very first step is to take your input and convert it into these token IDs, right? Again, think logically. I'll ask you a question and I'll get your answer. Do I have finite set of vocabulary words in English language or I have infinite? Is it finite or infinite? Just put it in the chat. Is it finite or infinite? Interesting. I can see both the answers. Okay. I can see a lot of people are saying finite, but some are saying infinite also. So I want all of the people who are saying infinite, the answer is no, right? How it can be infinite. I'm talking about the words. You have English vocabulary words. Just Google search it, right? This is a Google stats. Like in English language, we have roughly around 150K words, right? Entire. And logically thinking, you think it of our childhood, right? I mean, a lot of you folks might be elder than me also. So I have used a thick dictionary when I was studying back in my school, right? I had that thick Oxford dictionary on my table. So that has all the words, right? Starting from A till Z. It covers the entire diverse set of words. And some people come and say to me that, hey, Divesh, what if every year some of these words get added into my dictionary, right? So what, right? Then also it will be, you can say, a finite, right? Let's say today in 2026, 10 new words get added to our English dictionary. Still, it will be finite, right? 1,50,000 plus 10 or 20, whatever words. So my number of words are finite, right? If I break it down, right, whatever word model have seen while training, right? That is can be converted into my tokens. Second foremost reason is costing also, right? All your model costing is related to your token generation. How many tokens you are consuming, how many tokens model are outputting. Based on that, all the costing gets decided. Right now, it will become very much interesting in our second phase or second step, right? So, the first step is simple. You put something that means I ask this question, right? It has at the back end, it has broken down into token IDs, right? Explain is one token, me is token, about is token, LLM is one token, question mark is token. Everything has been categorized under the token IDs. First step is done. Model breaks down the words into smaller tokens. Why it does that? Because model understand numbers. Now we will convert it into a binary. It's number. We have mapped each and every word with some unique ID or number. We have finite set of words and the costing. All my costing is associated with how many tokens my model is using. Second step, very important, right? Embeddings. This is where your token IDs convert into your numerical vector, right? Or binary. You call it as binary, right? So this becomes your binary now between 0 to 1. What are these? What are embeddings? How they get converted? Let's take again a visual example, right? So I want every one of you to have this visualization, right? I don't want to just only throw you a theory. Just see practically. Right now we are on our second step. What it is happening, I'll show you visually, but converting that text into numbers, which has some meaning now. How the meaning is coming, let's look into that, right? And it is converted. Explain is converted into this bunch of number, which is very, very long. Again, the second word on your input sentence become a string of long numbers. This is called embeddings. Now, what are embeddings? Embedding means model has learned the pattern while training, right? So what we are saying, what is the training data? What is the food of this model? All the text present on the internet. I talked about there are finite set of words, right? 150K words in English language, roughly. Now, if I ask you how many sentences I can make from these 150K words, how many sentences? I mean, is it finite or infinite? How many sentences I can make? Think logically. How many Okay, perfect. I think now people are on spot and giving me the answer infinite, right? This is the case you need to understand. I have finite words, but how many sentences I can make? Infinite, right? The sentences on the entire internet is the permutation and combination of these words, right? I can make as many sentences. I have a lot of articles, but words are finite, but sentences become infinite, right? So model has learned those patterns, and this is where it comes interesting, right? As a human, we can't visualize more than three dimensions. So we have plotted the entire data into three dimensions. Now see the magic. If I type Apple here, right? So model is looking at its training data that, okay, I have seen this word apple. What are the nearest words or nearby words I have seen this particular word with? Now you can think logically, all my articles on the internet have the word Apple and they have the nearby words Macintosh, Microsoft, IBM, Windows. I can see something called wine here, right? Very little getting highlighted wine, apple, fruit. So all these words model has learned while training that, okay, I know this particular word. I have seen it in my training and these are the nearest word, right? So it has made a pattern out of it. And that is where the meaning comes in now, right? Model has understood that, okay, this is the pattern that, like how we learn grammar, you think it of logically, how you have learned English grammar, how you know the rules, right? That A and the are my articles, which comes before the vowel sound, right? So model has learned these patterns while looking at the text, right? So if you type, let's say democratic, so model now knows that I have seen this word democratic and alongside I have seen democracy, socialist, party, communist, elections, and they are highly similar to it, right? This is similarity score, how similar it is. So these words have been seen by the model while training the data, right? So it has understood the pattern of the text within the English language, right? I'm only talking about English language as of now. So don't think of how other languages work. So they have their own rules, right? We are just talking about English language as of now. So model has learned these patterns. And now when you ask the question, right? When you ask what is the calorie, how many calories are there in apple? So it knows that user is talking about apple as a fruit, right? When you ask this query, what is the market size of apple? So model knows that I have seen in the internet that there is something called brand apple and it has something called market size, right? So it knows that both Apple has a different embedding, right? That is where model brings the right embedding into the context. And you have lot many of these kind of words, right? Let's say I give you one more example. I'm sitting on or I'm going to bank to open my savings account, right? I'm going to bank to open my savings account. Second sentence, I'm sitting on a river bank and enjoying the sunset. So here bank means different in both the sentences. So they both have a different embedding vector. And how does model select? Because of this pattern which it has learned via training, right? So it already trained. Now, if you want to confuse, right, let's confuse it. This is really interesting. Then I'll move on to my third step. And after that, it is very easy. So what if I write this? I like apple, right? Now model is confused which apple I am talking about, right? I can like maybe brand apple, I can like fruit apple. So it will either assume or it will just predict, or if it is smarter, it will ask me what apple you are talking about, right? Because I am not asking calories, market size of apple, because that is, it can guess which apple user is talking about. Right, so let's see. I like apple. I don't know what answer it will give. Oh, perfect, right? This is smart. When you say apple, what do you mean? Apple as the fruit or apple as the brand? Tell me the context, I'll tailor the response accordingly. Right? So this is how I confuse the model. This is how I hijacked or confused the model. It doesn't know now which Apple embedding I should bring. So it has clarified from the user what it means, right? So this is where your second step, how the meaning gets into my entire chat, right? This is the step where meaning comes into my picture. And final third step on the input side is self-attention. That means, just read this line, the model focus on the important parts of the text, right? Of your input text. So model gets you the answer, right? I'll go back into our previous example. I started off with this example, right? Explain me about LLM. It has given me the answer, but it's a technical definition, right? It's a completely technical definition. We all know if I want this, a 5-year-old kid to know, I mean, it will go bouncer. Now I will do this thing, right? Model automatically use the term called self-attention to focus on the relevant part, right? Now I will add this as if I am 5-year-old, right? Explain me about LLM. The task is still the same, but as if I'm a 5-year-old. That means model has to give more importance, more self-attention to this point. And this is the evolution of prompt engineering. Because of this step, we have the new era, new subject called prompt engineering. Because of this step only, right? Because it focus on your important parts in your sentence automatically. Now, if I run this, you will get a very simple, plain, vanilla definition or example, right? Think LLM as a very smart talking robot. The robot has read millions of storybooks, comics, school books, chats. Because it has read so much, it learned how words sound together, how sentences are made, how people usually answer. Imagine you are playing a guessing game. Twinkle, twinkle, little, you will say star. And this is how LLM does the same thing, right? Very clear analogy, clear example if I want to go and explain. What has changed? Only this input, right? Model try to focus on this part, which is known as self-attention, right? So I'll quickly say 3 steps on the input side. You type in anything, model will tokenize it, break down your sentence into tokens. It will bring the meaning into the picture using embeddings, right? There is an embedding model which will bring the this value representation for that word, which is already trained, right? Like how you see, which is already trained, right? You will get the relevant vector of that particular word, which has the meaning now. And finally, it will have this self-attention where the model start giving the importance to the input, some words which are important in the input sentence. Finally, from step 4, right? We are on our last steps. Last step is left, 5 steps. It is there, right? Model start giving you the output. From here, it will start generating the output. Your chat GPT start your answer, giving you the response. And what it is doing is no brainer, right? You will guess now. For example, if I have this sentence, imagine you have a super smart robot friend who has read every dash. One possible answer is book. Can you tell me in the chat, apart from book, what all words can come in here in this particular dash? What all words you can think it of in your brain? Magazine, right? Blog, newspaper, poem, email, articles, perfect. Web pages. I can see a lot of responses. Poster, comic, blogs, mind, documents, right? Now, if I say each and every word is a single token, right? So model does the same thing, like how we humans do. You have predicted one token at a time, and every one of you predicted what comes first to your brain, right? It come newspaper, you type newspaper. It came article, you typed article. It came, let's say, web page, you typed web page. So that means model also does the same thing. What it will do, we have how many words? We have 150K words, right? We'll take that as an assumption. Model assigns probability to each and every word and pick from the top probability word. That is the reason, right? Fundamentally, we don't ask these questions. That is the reason we never get same output. But the choices of words will always be same, right? On Chat GPT, and that is by design because it picks from the high probability words, not highest probability word. If I always pick from, if I make a rule, right? Let's say we are the one who build these models. If I set it to always pick the highest word, I will always get the same answer for the same question, right? Let's say book has 0.5 probability and newspaper has zero point 0.4, right? It will always pick the highest because zero point 0.5 is even higher than 0.499, right? We all know that. So it picks from the higher probability words, not the highest. And that is the reason models start predicting and you get always a different response, right? You want to test, see, I'll just copy this. I'll ask the same question. You will see these words again. But how the model is generating this response, it will not match word to word, right? I'll not change a single word. Imagine this, you have a super smart robot friends, right? Again, you can see the repetition, books, stories, poems is there. Chota Bheem, right? It has taken some example of other thing. You got a similar response, but not exact word to word sound. That is why prediction, it's all probability. Model is not smart, it is maths. It is predicting, right? It is all maths. And finally, the last step, it will keep on doing one token prediction at a time till it gets entire response complete, right? So it will predict first token, then second token, then third, till you get your entire response back, right? Like this is if I show you, this is your first token prediction, this is your second, this is your third, this is fourth. It will keep on doing till it gets the entire response generated. And that is the fundamentally how your large language model works in this five-step process, from tokenization to embeddings to self transformer mechanism to self attention to predictions, and finally you get your answer, right? That is the reason prompt engineering is very, very important, so that model can focus on important tasks, right? So quick check in the chat. Did you get how Gen AI works, right? Was it something new you learned? How the model breaks down, right? Just quick check in the chat, then we can proceed. Great. Right? All the questions, if you have anything, right, or on anything, just we will take towards the end because we have to proceed with the session. So questions I will take, but yes, I can see a lot of interesting. Perfect. Okay. A lot of people are saying, can you share those links which I referred? Yes, I can. No worries about that. I can share these links. Uh, I think I can't change it from host to another, but yeah, I'll share. I think the team can share it with you. I'll just share in the chat so that whatever tools I'm using, you can have it. Okay, now I have the access. I'll share it with everyone so that you can bookmark it and use it later towards it to play around with, right? Just play around with later. But yeah, I hope now you understand how the Gen AI works. That is the fundamental of my large language model, how large language model works. It will start from your first step till the last when you final answer, right? That is how model working under the. Now we have understood, but that is only the back end of it, right? Like how model works, how generative AI works. But how to talk to these models is my second best learning if you want to take away, right? In the level one. Because now think logically, you now know, okay, I am learning inside AI, right? In AI, we have three things: text, image, audio. Start from that top. You have AI, you have three branches: text, image, audio. We are going into the text. Text has what? Large language models. You understood large language models, how do they work? Now the next layer comes how I should talk to these models. What are the best ways? How can I get the best output from these models? And that is where the prompt engineering comes in. We have a lot of prompting techniques. You might have heard, right? There are hundreds of prompting techniques out there in, you can say, entire universe. You have all these zero shot, few shots, chain of thoughts, very, very powerful prompting techniques, right? I'll share you the resource. But if today, if I want to give you back one technique that works, I would say for 98% of tasks, right? That is called magic prompt formula. That is where it gets interesting, right? One prompting technique can work almost in 98% scenarios. The left 2% are, let's say, chain of thoughts or other advanced technique can fit in. Right, and I'll share you one article, right, which has all these prompting techniques. You can go through it towards the later session and all that. You can bookmark it. So this is prompt guide, prompt engineering guide. They have a lot of prompting techniques listed, but I'll share you one which covers 98% of your task, right? 98%. So we are on a good side that we are learning one technique which covers everything. But for this, you can imagine, you can come to this, you can look at the structure. What does this 2% left algorithms does, right? And don't think about that these techniques are just normal. I myself have published a research paper on one of the prompting technique, which is tree of thoughts with role combination, right? So it's there on my LinkedIn, and every technique is backed by research, right? So if I just click on that, It has the research paper by, I think, Google only 2023. This prompting came in. If I can check, right? 2023, this came in. This talked about how we can make a tree structure like prompt, right? So they have a very specific applications, but the one which we'll be discussing, yes, I think it was from Google, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Google DeepMind, right? So this was the Google DeepMind. So I've already shared this link. Just bookmark it. Don't worry about that because you already using chat gpt with zero shot prompting, right? This is the default prompt all of you are already using in day-to-day life. That is what you call zero shot. So let's see what are the best ways, right? We all know now we have a lot of prompting techniques, but there is one prompt that works best. We call it as magic prompt formula. I'll show you demo practically how it make much more sense. For example, we have the task to send an email to invite all the learners, right? Out there, all my followers, let's say on LinkedIn, I want to invite them on generative AI workshop. If I go and write the same thing, right? Can you draft an email to invite all my subscribers to Gen AI workshop? Right? Now you know how LLM works, right? You have just learned how LLM works. It will start predicting based on your input. It will start predicting the output and you will get your response, right? You will get your answers. But if I quickly check in the chat, right, you can see the mail, you can see the entire structure. It has subject, it has what you will learn, who is this for, perfect, workshop details. It has my signature, everything else. How much would you rate this output or this prompt out of 10? Let's say like 10 is best, 1 is the worst. How much would you rate, right? If you ask me, I would rate 1. I can see a lot of people 7, 8, 10. I would rate 1. I'll tell you why, right? I will rate it 1. Okay, now people are saying I agree. This is bad, right? This is an example of very generic, absolutely right. Too generic, bad prompt. It has lot of assumptions. Lot of assumptions model has taken, and that's the reason, right? Third, fourth step, what we learned in our LLM, right? Tokenization, embeddings, self-attention. Fourth step, prediction. It is predicting it, right? It is making up the things. When did I say it, right? It has not asked me follow-up question. For example, what we will be covering in Gen AI workshop. Who is this workshop for? Is it for technical folks? Is it for engineers? Is it for CXOs? Is it for generic people? What topics I will cover? How you decided that I will be covering this topic? Have I given you any instruction in my input? The answer is no. So you can see the flaw, how it is, and this that is the reason you need a good engineering, right? I took one example, I think today that will also make you much more interesting to see. So this is example of very bad prompt, right? Again, using magic prompt formula, practically I was doing something and I showed it that how this is very bad, right? How this is very bad. Again, one more example, right? Same thing. Give me exercise and diet plan which I can follow. I am male, 30 years old and vegetarian. It has given me all the things. Day one, I can do this, right? Goal, healthy body. When did you ask me what is my goal? How many days I can work? When did I said I will only do a 5 days a week? If I want to go 7 days a week, who said I will be dedicating 45 to 60 minutes? What if I only have 20 minutes per day? Who said you I like this? Do you know my medical condition? Do I have any back injury? Do I have any food allergies? Right? You have given me all these. Have you asked me what kind of allergies? I'm lactose intolerant or not? Bunch of questions, right? Bunch of questions it needs to ask. That is where prompt engineering comes in. If you don't have a clear cut structure, right? And see the output. See the output, which is very vague, right? Day one, day five. Then you go here. You have morning. Will I eat this particular thing every day? I don't have variety of options, right? So this does a very bad job. And if I go and change my strategy, if I use one prompting technique, I can show you the final results that will blow your mind. And now we will learn the magic prompt formula, right? I think this will get loaded up. Uh, uh, is it coming? Yes, right. So now I have given my magic prompt formula, right? I'll show you how to generate this once we learn. But now it has all the context, it has the clear-cut structure, right? It has the task, it has the role. You are a RIA fitness nutrition coach. It has the entire context, right? It has to ask me all these questions before getting me the output. And who is driving this? You are the one who have to drive this, right? So this is your magic prompt formula. I'll come to the slides. You have persona, you have task, you have context. Model doesn't know about you, right? It has to get all these details, my basic details, my exercise routine, my dietary preference. Just imagine I'm sitting in front of a diet expert or nutrition expert. That person will be asking me questions in the real world, real human language. I will go to him or her, I'll pay the fees, right? Whatever the fee they will be charging. They will ask me of questions before giving me the output. Same thing we have done. And now you see the response, me one question at a time, right? Don't give me 20 questions at a time. Make a chatbot, right? We were building. So one question, gender, weight, height, profession, how many days, types of workout I like, vegetarian, do I have any food allergies, right? See the personalization. Do I take any supplements? Any medical conditions, right? Why? Because I have given all this and I have given the high level instruction. See the last pointer, additional questions that you think contribute to this particular thing, right? You ask all this, anything additional which I might have missed, you can ask. And that's what model did, right? It asked me bunch of questions. I think around 12 questions it has asked me. Any medical condition, knee pain, or my primary fitness goal, right? I have given one word sentence answer. And finally, you see the response. You have a particular format chart, you have a 7-day diet plan with all their different meals, and you have the entire coming in the response which is structured, right? So that is the power of prompting, right? You saw the email example, it was a very bad prompt, right? So good prompt means if I want to do the same task, it should have this instruction, your role, your context, your task, right? Your data. Data is optional, by the way, right? Instruction or you can say the goals are same, right? Objective and instructions kind of a similar, right? We are just giving the interchanging the, you can say, headers. But ultimately, it will start with something called structured prompts, right? Make a note of this in your mind that whenever I want to start my prompt, I will start with role. You are an experienced email copywriter who has written for the brands like Ogilvy. Why it is necessary? Now I understand LLM. It has seen everything, right? It has been trained on everything. It knows maths, science, social science, history. But I want you to focus on just email writing. That is where it get tailored. Right. So now if I just copy my entire prompt, again, as I said, don't worry about prompts and all. You will get all of this. I'll just copy the prompt for this one and show you the output, right? You already seen that was the example of bad prompt. If I want to write the same thing, I will write it like now this, right? That you are an experienced email copywriter who has written for the brands we are launching. Who is this workshop for? It is for marketing, tech, products, right? I'm giving lot much detail now, and that is how your prompt should be, right? This is the power packing of prompt. This is just one technique, right? So in a nutshell, provide as much detail, give as much context, because LLM doesn't know about your context, what environment you are in, what surroundings you are in, right? All these conditions LLM needs to know, right? Now I have everything which is tailored, right? Why you should attend, you have the jargons, you have call to actions and all of that, right? This is how my magic prompt formula works in AI, right? So now, as I said, now we know what is AI model, how LLM works, what is the significance of a good prompt. We have seen one, two examples. Now that you know on a high level, I mean, you can work with these models and respond to these instructions. But again, the very last question in this entire space comes in, which model to use, right? There are a lot of models out there. You already know there are a bunch of models out there. You have I mean, these companies, right? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, Copilot. Then you have all these models coming from them, right? You have Claude 3, Sonnet, GPT. Earlier it was GPT 4 and 4.0, but now I think OpenAI has done this thing. Even they have O4, O4 mini, right? They have bunch of models which was very confusing for the user. Now they have made it one 5.2, and model will have the thinking state differently, right? But you have a lot of bunch of models, right? Can you take a guess how many large language model, only text related models are there out there in the market as of now, combining both free and open source and the paid ones? How many models we have? Okay, I can see 100, 60, 10,000, 1 lakh. Okay. I think all the people who are nearing 500 to 600 are the correct. So I think last time I checked, it was around 615 or maybe 610, what I can recall, but I can quickly check, right? So I prefer to see this site just to see how many models. I will filter it out. This is an open router, right? They have the models, and I'll only filter on the text, right? So I have 616 large language model as of now in the market, right? Which combines both free as well as paid. Everything is there. So how to choose which one is best, right? How to categorize these model into some category, right? This is our next question, 520. I think now it is, I need to update my slide. This was the last updated when it was 520. I will just make it now 615 plus counting, right? So this is where it gets interesting. We have lot of models. How do you know which model to use where, right? How does we can define, know what the world is using, right? We can filter it on the highest top ranking models. That is, I mean, strategy, right? We will select the best models which are cheaper in cost, which are good at accuracy or intelligence, right? But the one way, the very best way is you can try different model yourself, right? After filtering it out, your top candidates. So what I'll do, I'll go to the same page ranking, right? You can have the rankings, you can see different model, which one are ranking on the top, take 2 5 models, right, out there, and you can try something called multi, right? Here you can compare the models, right? So you will see all the models here. There are free models, paid models, all of them. You click on this, right? You, let's say I want to compare these three deep, by the way. I'll ask any question. Let's say, what is A/B testing? So if I type that, model will go into all the responses. It will generate the parallelly from all of them and give you the response which you can compare. So the one way is comparing all my top candidates and get to know which one has generated if you have the product knowledge, right? So ask that kind of a question, okay, how the response is, which one is giving me the best response, right? I can see that DeepSeek is still better in terms of responding me. If I want to select one of them out of these three, I will go with DeepSeek, right? So this is multi-platform where you can go and select, but still my question is the same, right? But how we can categorize these models into two buckets? When to use reasoning model, when not to use, right? So that is where it comes a distinction, or you can categorize these models into two particular buckets, right? Reasoning models versus non-reasoning models. And I'll show you the difference when it makes practically coming to the demonstration, right? So we have a lot of reasoning models. Now OpenAI doesn't have all this. They have combined it into something called thinking. But earlier they used to have O3, O3 mini, O1 and all that. DeepSeek. I don't know how many of you have heard about DeepSeek. It was the very first model which introduced reasoning capabilities in LLM, right? Have you heard about DeepSeek before? Have you heard? I think it made a lot of noise. Right, it is from China, right? It is open source, free, and when it came, it shook the entire Silicon Valley. All your Nvidia stocks, FANG stocks, even Microsoft stock, right? It went down. Why? Because it was half the cost of the bigger models, and accuracy wise, it was beating all of them. It was half the cost, right? That is a major reason we see that a lot of advent is happening inside AI. Every day there is something new is coming out, right? So now if we want to categorize, right? We can't remember all the 600 models. Plus, you can't even try all the models, right? So I will filter it out my top four, top five. I can test it out on that multi-platform, which I just showed you, right? You can go to multi, you can try the different model, right? One, two, three, best four, best five. You try it out yourself, take your understanding. Or my best way is just remember the task, right? Take your two models, that when I should use reasoning models, when I should not use reasoning models, right? I'll tell you where it comes. We did a lot of, this part, right? Like generate an email, generate a diet plan. These are normal tasks, right? They doesn't require reasoning capability, right? But what if I have something called this kind of task? Let me copy it so that we can have or see when to use reasoning models, right? Because this is really interesting. I'll take one example. Yeah, this one. This one is really interesting one. I will use first the non-reasoning ones, right? What do you have to do? You have to go with the input, what we are asking. I will use the same prompt on, let's say, DeepSeek, which is the reasoning model, right? I can do the reasoning here also, right? I can go into the thinking state. I can do the reasoning here also, but I'm specifically not doing. I don't want model to do a thinking. Let me put it, the prompt or the problem we want to solve. Now, what you have to do, you have to count the constraints that I am introducing in this prompt. Just count it, right? How complex this problem is. This is very complex brainstorming problem for the large language model. And this is a classic use case of my reasoning models, right? Let's start reading it. I have 10,000 rupees to invest along with the laptop, right? And internet access for 30 days. First constraint you have given that I have only 10,000 rupees, I have a laptop, and I have only internet and 30 days. I want to start a home-based business that operates entirely online without requiring me to step outside. Second constraint, I want to do it only online business. No physical, no shop, no rent, nothing. It should be operated within my house. Second, right? Second constraint. Third constraint, please provide me three business ideas, right? Let's say we have 100 of ideas, but I want only three, each with the detailed plan. How to grow my investment from 10,000 to 100K within 30 days. Again, one more constraint, right? 30 days, 10,000 to 100K. The business should not be service based. Now, let's say model was thinking about, let's say, starting some service based business, but we have removed off, we have chopped that. This should not be a service based. Again, one more constraint. See the complexity. Since I have no coding skills, it must be achievable without writing a code and using no code tools. Additionally, plan should not rely on running ads. I don't want to run the ads also since I don't have ad management experience. This is the classic example of your brainstorming, classic example of your reasoning model. Model has to think through. I think this is already doing the reasoning by default. But I specifically mentioned that it should not do. So I can see whether it has done the reasoning. No, I think not. Right. So it has started giving me the response without going into evaluating, let's say 10 ideas, then selecting top three. No, it has start predicting me the output that, okay, go and do this business one. It might, I'm not saying this is wrong, right? But it has not brainstormed. It has given some plan, idea to Instagram, Telegram, uh, theme page plus affiliate arbitrage. Okay, but I think this requires me to run some ads to get my uh, reach out there. But yeah, it has given this idea, and third idea is this, right? Which is very similar to my first or second idea, right? Which is very similar, right? Same idea. It has given me top three ideas without going into the thinking state. Now, if you use thinking model, right, this deep think feature. So what I'll do, I'll just put the same prompt over here. I specifically want model to think. And now you will see the magic. The model will list down all the constraints. The model will think through all the possibilities. It will evaluate all the ideas, then come up with your top three ideas, right? And that is where the thinking state comes in. That model is talking to itself. Thinking means contemplating. We also do as a human, right? When you are brainstorming, when you are problem solving some problem, you do a lot of brainstorming, right? That is what model do it with itself, right? No service based, it should be online, no ads, no coding. This is a challenging but realistic request. The constraints are tight, not stepping outside, no ads, no coding, right? This is model talking to itself. Then it start giving you the output. That is the power of reasoning model, right? So whenever now you can categorize, right? So if I give you the final verdict or final uh, classification, whenever you have any research related, brainstorming related task where you think there can be possible solutions, there is no just one solution, right? In this also, we don't have just one solution, we can have multiple, and we have to select the best one. Then go for the reasoning models, right? Because they are quite expensive, they are slow, right? Both the cases. But when it's straightforward, right? Drafting an email, drafting our diet plan, right? Where the lot of brainstorming doesn't require. You have given the input straightforward, get me the output, that's fine. You don't have to evaluate different options, so then you can go without doing that, right? So if I just copy paste and make it as an, let's say, Grok 1 thinking, or let's say thinking hard, right? It will go into a lot of thinking before generating the output. So that's how all the reasoning model works, because they think, they talk out loud, they talk to themselves without, before giving you the output, right? So now you can categorize when to use reasoning, when not to use reasoning, right? For simplest task, you can simply use model like ChatGPT, right? But when it becomes a complex task, you can go and select the thinking mode, right? Every LLM, you go to Gemini, you will find thinking. You go to Grok, I think it is already doing the thinking. You have that thinking model, right? You will see a lot of time. It will take around maybe 4 to 5 minutes before giving you the response. Then you have Claude. Again, you have a thinking coming here, right? This is my Opus 5, which is a thinking complex work, right? So everyday task, this. For complex work, you have this. So that's how every platform have divided their strategy into reasoning versus non-reasoning, right? Reasoning and thinking are same thing. So I think it is still working, right? Still I am having all this thing run. So it will take good amount of time because I have selected heavy thinking, right? Things hard. And then finally it will be giving you a response. Right. So that is the power of your thinking models. I think like we don't have to go into details what it is generating, but yeah, let's proceed with our slides. Right. So now if I just quickly summarize till this point, we started off with the definition of generative AI, right? It is a new type of artificial intelligence which can generate original content. We went on to look at LLMs. How do LLM work, right? The decoding that black box, again, tokenizing, embedding, self-attention, then prediction, response generation, finally coming to how to prompt it better, use the magic prompt formula to generate the best output, right? Magic prompt formula means, since I am into this, right, from very long time, it is in my mind. What should my prompt should have? My prompt should have role, my prompt should have task, my prompt should have context, my prompt should have objective, and let's say additional things like tone and format, right? If I have this, I can make the best application prompts out there. Now, right, my all these applications are not just limited to text, right? They are now very good at videos too, right? Images too. That is where we are leading, or we are growing towards, right? Models are capable of generating your videos inside the same interface, right? Or images also. So for example, let's say you're throwing a party at home, you want a quick marketing collateral, right? Earlier, what used to happen, you have to hire a graphic designer, or you yourself go to Canva, right? You try those designs. Now Canva also has the AI, by the way. Canva has already integrated AI into its app. But yeah, earlier I'm saying, right? Earlier you used to create those posters and all that. But nowadays we need to write a prompt to get it done, right? You might already been using, that is where the power of image generation models comes in. And till this date, if I want to select any one model out of all these different ones, I will select a nano banana, right? You can generate any poster, right? And I'm telling you practically, this was given to us since we were doing the hackathon at Microsoft. We wanted to have a poster very quickly, right? Since there was, this needs to be sent across my teams, right? So that special invitation. So we just went on to Gemini and generated a very quickly a create image option, right? So that means it is very powerful when it comes to quicker task, right? I'm not saying it can beat your professional graphic designer. I'm not saying at all. But the problem is I want it quick. I want it in 1 minute. Can my graphic designer deliver in 1 minute? The answer is no, right? So it is fitting that context, not competing with my graphic designer who is really skilled at making these posters, right? It can compete also, but I'm not going into that debate, how good it is, how bad it is. I want it really quick, right? So if I give a very simple instruction, create, right? Similar thing. If I just go and give create a hackathon poster for our event, which is uh, on AI product building, right? I'll give the theme use sci-fi robot theme poster having all the details, right? And the best part is now, like earlier when images model came, they were not able to handle the text on the image, right? They were very good at generating the images without having any text. But now, if I'm talking about 2026, they are very good at, I mean, superimposing your text onto the image, right? So I can give these details, like having all these details. Let's say I want to give event name, hack all night, right? So let's say I'm giving this event name, hack all night. Date is, let's say, 1st Feb, right? Or venue, right? I mean, you can add, keep on adding all these details. Let's say Radisson, right? Radisson Hotel, for example. So I've given this very quickly just to show you. I have clicked on image model. Now model will create an image under 1 minute, right? That was our ask. How can I quickly get my posters out from any of these good models, right? ChatGPT can also do the same thing, by the way, right? I'm not showing you. ChatGPT also has create image option, but when it comes to selecting the one model, I will go with Nano Banana, right? Since it is a good now at generating these posters or making a good set of instruction, right? And they have the next part also, which is coming in, right? So it's a good poster which came in. I can have a branding, I can have my logo, all that you can give it in your input. Model can handle that, right? Now, since we have all this, right, Nano Banana is still free. I can generate like quite good amount of images. But if you are looking for free alternatives, Grok is one, right? Leonardo AI, again, freemium. You can generate some for free, then you have to pay it out. Now the visual got generated. Let's say I want to have an introductory video also sent. Same, right? We have the from the same family VO3, which can generate a stunning hackathon video, or I mean any video for your use case while coming to this particular tool, right? So you can create videos. Again, you just need to describe, create an energetic hackathon opening video which shows people collaborating, right? Collaborating and working on their ideas in some big lab, right? In some big lab which has a lot of computers. Right? I'm just giving a scenario or theme. So now you know you had, I mean, your imagination brings to AI can generate the magic. Be it text, be it your image, be it your videos, right? I can go into the depth of prompting, right? There is a very good set of prompting in videos also. But since I'm not showing you because you have a dedicated session for it, you have a dedicated level 2 session where we'll go in depth how to create better videos and better images. I'm just showing you the bigger picture, how the AI looks like, right? So I have a JSON prompting, I have image related prompts where you can mention your camera settings, right? I am using that, which is a detailed prompt for image generation. What should be your ISO? What should be your focus, your aperture? All that notion is there. You will be learning that, right? But since I wanted to show you the best output that model can yield as quick as possible, that is what we were looking at, right? So text, image, video, everything under the same bucket you can have very quickly, just under 1 to 2 minutes, right? I'll just refresh to check if it is already generated. Yeah, it is generating. So I'll come back once it is there, right? Let it be. In from the next slide, I'll come back. But yeah, now you know how you can generate text or videos or everything else. And that is how we are, I mean, we can see the potential that where AI is heading towards, right? You can do anything with that particular one tool who is good at generating all three data points, text, image, and videos. I showed you all the examples. Quickly checking in the chat, how is it going so far? Are you learning, enjoying? There is some power pack learning, because next we have is how you can create your tools, right? Next we will be starting now how one can create their own set of tools. Amazing, right? I'll just take a quick sip and look at the video if it is already built. But yeah, interesting to see all the folks are engaging, learning. And now interesting part is how to build my own toolkit. Now I'll introduce you, I would say, 10 or 15 maybe different AI tools that are expert in their working, right? So just hold on, we will build our own toolkit, right? That's what we will be looking at. Okay, let me see if I have our video done, and then we will proceed to the next
We
part.
can
Yes,
use
video
this
is here.
framework to
So
streamline the
let
entire process. See how the latency drops.
That solves the main bottleneck. Let's push this update to the main branch.
We can use this framework to streamline the entire
right. So you have a very quick, you can tell about your event name, that your video should talk about that event and all that, right? So that specification
process.
you can
See how the
go
latency
depth, but
drops.
it
That
is
solves the main bottleneck.
within 1 to 2 minutes, right? That is the power of AI, what we are using right now. Perfect. So, right. So till now we have learned how everything works, but what if I can make how AI work, right? I mean, how we can make our entire toolkit, right? That means how we can do some fun, do some productivity hacks, all of that into one of my bucket, right? So I'll divide my day, or I'll ask you this question. You can also imagine at the same time, just think it of that what all work you do in your day-to-day life, right? That will have your work related stuff, right? Maybe you will say that I analyze lot of research. I have to do research. Someone of you say I have to analyze the data. I do this thing, I do that thing. So you have to tailor it out your task. I mean, not right now, afterwards. And you build your own toolkit that going forward, you have all this in your hand. That is like your arms, right? That is like your tools and tackles for your productivity hack, right? So what one thing, right? Lot of people, the whole debate going on that what AI is doing, right? Is AI a bubble, right? All of us know that this is happening inside the market and all. The bubble is with respect to finances, right? Or about the valuation, right? That valuation is high. But AI as a technology will now no not, I mean, it's never going away. It's a new way of working, right? As a technology, it can't go down, right? Bubble means it will shut down, or it will collapse based on the finances, right? Based on the valuations, not as a technology. So if I have, or if I ask, or if I can make you think of just one thing, what is the one thing that sure shot I can see AI is doing, right? I mean, is AI is reducing my cost? I will still be dicey, right? I mean, if I compare my human capital versus AI, I can calculate my subscription cost, right? I mean, a lot of people can debate on these topics that my human resources are cheaper compared to AI. But what if I mean, if you ask this question, AI is helping me save my time. I mean, no one can deny that fact. AI is helping me save my time across my work streams. That is where we want to learn to save my time, right? And build this bucket. So if we have taken this high level, you can say categories, that how can I become more productive? What are the tools in the productivity bucket? What are some tools in research bucket? What are some tools when it comes to data analysis, right? I have a lot of data. How can I analyze? How can I make things faster, absorb something, right? All that. How can I become more smarter? And obviously some fun elements, how AI is also going into that direction, right? So that is what we want to explore now. This is what the, I would say, last part of our sessions going on. I mean, third phase. So first phase was understanding about AI, understanding the model, learning about prompting. Second phase was prompting and what are models capable of. This is now third phase where we are going into the buckets of these tools, right? So we'll start with the productivity, we'll go into research, and then we'll go into slicing and dicing the data also. Perfect, right? So now the first one, right? How we can make ourselves 4x faster, right? The first tool in my productivity bucket, right? Which makes me use faster whenever I'm using the internet. That is Whisper Flow, right? I'll just show you quickly and then maybe show you practical demo also, right? What it is all about. Yeah, this is their website, right? So this is a tool that help you speak, not just type, right? So this is voice to text inside your laptop or inside your AI, I mean, system. It can work across the application. It has some freemium plan again, but it will make you faster, right? 4x better than typing. And you can try it yourself, right? So average you type 45 words per minute, but when it comes to flow, you can type in 220 words per minute, right? So for example, I think if I can show you if it works for me, if I go here, I think yes, if I press create one prompt for me related to diet plan and exercise plan where we are using 6 prompt magic prompt formula having role, context, task, and objective. Right? Done. So you don't have to type, you just press the FN key that is running in my, I mean, I already installed it, is running in my laptop, right? So it will keep on typing. You're drafting the mail, you're drafting your prompts, you are using AI, you just need to speak, not have to write, right? So this is the first productivity hack, which I personally am using, right? Like 220 words per minute kind of an application. And you can try it for free also, right? Come to this website, try the flow, and you will see that yes, you'll be able to see that it is quite faster, right? And since it is AI, if you just make some pauses, right? I use some fillers while speaking, right? I use the A, everything will be taken care by AI, right? So we'll get a precise content out. It's not like transcribing, it is just using AI to give you the better output, right? So first tool, Whisper Flow, which is making me faster. Second thing, right? How I can chat or video, right? How I can become more productive while learning my resources, right? This is again very powerful, right? A lot of people don't know about that. You already have the best tool in hand, which can make the learning easy, right? So what you can do is, you know that, right? There is a lot of good content on YouTube, right? But sometimes when it comes to a very large podcast, right, from our favorite content creators, it is very long, right? So for example, if I just say, I think Nikhil Kamath, right? Nikhil Kamath is one of the Indian podcaster. He invited CEO of YouTube, right? So they had a very long conversation, right? What if I don't have the entire time? This is the video, right? And I want to know what they are discussing, and I want to be a smarter way of chatting on the video, right? Then this is the best tool for you, right? You go here, you ask, right? You share the video link, right? What are the key takeaways from this video, right? So you have your personal AI assistant now, which can talk to it, which can generate, since they both are saying, okay, I think I just need to reload to my account, right? I think sometimes you just need to refresh. It generally works. Uh, let me, right? I'll ask the same thing. So I'm saying, right, that account is being shared and a lot of people are using. So there it shows sometimes error, right? What are some key takeaways from this video, right? I can speak again using the voice AI. I have that already enabled, but since I'm doing the session, I just thought I'll just type in, right? So now if it connects, it will connect to the YouTube. It will bring the insights. If it is not doing, I think something is wrong at the back end. No, connected, right? So you can see YouTube got connected. I have analyzing the entire video, analyzing the transcript. So 1 hour long video, right? This is 1 hour long, 1 hour, 5 minute video. You can upload any long video. You have the entire time-stamped conversation, what they are talking about, right? Now it has the entire context. I can ask a follow-up question, right? Since let's say I just started my YouTube channel, from this year, right? I mean, I've started it quite a long, but I was not consistent, but now I've started posting it as much time as I get from my work and these sessions, right? So I've started posting. I wanted to know what monetary policies YouTube is introducing, how the CEO is telling. I don't have a much time to watch the entire episode. I can ask these questions now on top of your videos, right? Have they discussed about monetary policies on you have now again the context of entire video. It will go, it will bring the relevant answers and bring to your chat, right? You can go and asking questions and have a better learning companion alongside your videos, right? So that is the positioning and becoming more productive, not just investing the entire time. I know, watching a podcast is much more fun, but let's say there are scenarios when it comes, you want a quicker response, right? So again, it will go and give you the final response. Yes, Neil Mohan and Nikhil Kamath discussed the YouTube monetization framework and the business being a creator in detail, right? What are the different things they have discussed, monetization for podcast, sustainability, and all that factors which is coming in, right? Towards the end, Mohan touches on the challenges of AI, noting that YouTube is working on policies to ensure creators and artists are still compensated, right? So AI and monetization policy is also coming. So now you see that entire gist of video, entire 1 hour of content, I got in hardly, I would say 2 to 5 minutes, right? And that's what I'm teaching. But if I go and read, I can do it quickly, at much quicker. Again, my productivity hack going into the productivity bucket. Making AI attend your meetings on behalf of you. I think this is now quite a famous, but I can't demo this, right? This tool I can't demo inside this. But what it is positioning, you have these tools now, right? Let's say you are occupied somewhere, you can't be able to make the into the meeting, right? So you can add your AI as your representative who can attend the meeting, listen to the entire talk, take the notes, and send you an email, right? So this is quite common now, and there are a lot of tools in this bucket, right? Fireflies is there, Otter AI is there. I know a lot, 5, 6. You can choose anyone if you are a person whose calendar is mostly blocked, right? So that way it is a way too good productivity hack, right? So if you can't make it, and even if you make it, right? Even if you make it to the meeting, you can still add so that you don't have to take the notes. Your AI is taking all the important points or important summaries of the entire call, right? So Fireflies making your productivity better in online meetings. Perfect. Right. So Fireflies, and I think second one I can show you the other one also, Otter AI. So we have both of these, right? Same positioning, different tools, different features. You can definitely go and explore. This is also a note taker AI, right? There can be much more. I know these two actively, so I'm just sharing these two. Perfect, right? Now, let's say you wanted to do a research about a company you want to join, right? So that means I want to do a in-depth internet-based search. How does it happening? What are the questions they ask and all that? So best resource when it comes to do an internet web-based searches, it's the Perplexity, right? So, if you have used this tool, Perplexity is, now it is free with Airtel subscription, but it's very powerful when it comes to internet-based searches and getting you the answers. Because now it has referred to some authentic resources online before generating the response, right? So let's say for job, let's say I am targeting, let's say, let's take any company, right? I will say I'm targeting Amazon, for example, right? I'm targeting Amazon for senior applied scientist role. How is the work? Right? I mean, you can keep on asking. I'll ask 2, 3 questions. How is the work? Culture, right? Maybe salary ranges and whatnot. And let's say salary ranges and possible interview questions, right? So I'll provide this. Now I'm not doing this on ChatGPT because I want it to be a real-time search, right? You go to Quora, you go to Reddit, you bring those answers. You can see Reddit, Amazon itself has all the listed of senior applied scientist role day to day, what the work look like, culture and work style, right? I got all my answers which are coming from authentic resources. If you go and check these resources, they are I mean, I will say well structured resource, which I would have done it manually also, right? You have Reddit, Amazon, then you have this coding platform where you get the questions from. All of that is there, right? Again, you have levels where you get most of the salary ranges and all that. You have the questions and all the things getting into my picture, right? So when it comes to do a web-based research, my go-to tool will be Perplexity because it always brings the answer from the authentic resources without giving it from its own knowledge. It goes from the internet and check that, right? Again, if you're not right, this is one of the tool, but there are 2 other alternative options if you want to try. I mean, I'm not doing this, but you have Gemini Deep Research and Chat GPT Deep Research. They are different than your normal chatbot, right? They are not the same. If I just copy this, I can show you one. I mean, I can show you where it is. So you have this deep research feature coming in, right? This deep research. So this will take a lot of time and fetch to use search when you want to use internally. In ChatGPT also you have deep research. Use these tools when you want to have it done, right? If you want to ask, I mean, this is one example I took for the job application. I did one more deep research on this platform, which is this one. I asked about compare the best term insurance and give me the top 5 recommendation, right? So all these things require the model to go and read the reviews of the people, the settlement ratio, how good these term insurance companies are, right? So whenever you are in dilemma and you want to delegate a task, go and give it, come back after, let's say, half an hour, 1 hour, you will find a very good results like this, right? So whenever you have a very deep related research task where you need internet, right, where you need reviews, your Reddit, Quora, Google reviews, go and come and use this feature called deep research, right? So now you can go, I mean, I'll just take example, do research on best term insurance plan which I can buy for myself, right? I can be detail and all, but it will do a job for you. It will go in depth. It will take 5 minutes, right? Your response will not come before 5 to 8 minutes. That is the positioning that the deep research feature brings to us, right? So it will go in depth. I'll show you if the time permits towards the end, right? Now it will make an entire plan, right? You can see it has a plan. I'll just click on start research. It will take its own time before it generates the output, right? So I'll come back to show you the response once it is ready and we can proceed now to my next tool, right? So now for my deep research related, I will use these 2 features. I can use Perplexity or this Gemini or my Chat GPT. Personally, if you ask me, I will either go with Gemini or I'll go with Perplexity. In deep research, my Chat GPT would be the last preference. This is my personal bias, right? So this is my personal bias after using a lot of AI, right? A lot of AI tools. It's my personal bias that Gemini does a very good deep research and Perplexity does a very good research. Interesting, right? Next one. You have an upcoming interview, right? How do you prepare for that? So I have made, you can say, step-by-step process. How if I want to apply for a new job and prepare for this interview. So you'll just look at this before I'll start, right? So scenario is clear. I want to apply to some new job. I want to tailor my resume and I want to prepare for my next interview, which is again, I can use a simple chat GPT like tool, right? So let's see. This is really interesting, right? And I'll tell you where all you can apply this framework. So I'll go here, right? I'll come to my new chat. The very first thing, right? The scenario is clear, right? I want to apply to a new job. I want to tailor my resume and have all these things done, right? So first thing first, right? I want AI to know about me, right? So I will give the context, who I am, what kind of skills I have, all of that from my resume, right? So I have a prompt. I'll just copy paste here and I'll go with my first step, right? So it allows or it follows the step-by-step approach. So I'll just change this, right? You are an expert in data sciences and AI. Again, if you know or you remember the learning, I am starting with my role, right? So always, I mean, the key takeaway from today's session, one of the key takeaways, always start your prompt with role. So I've given the role, you are an expert, data sciences and AI expert. I would like you to review this CV and generate the summary that highlights most impressive parts in my resume, in my bullet points, right? So what I'll do is I will just attach my resume, right? Because I want to give the context about my profile and everything, who I am, what kind of projects I have done, right? What is my skill sets, so that model has the context of me in this particular window. Right. So this is now it is showing, this is quite an old now, right? So it is showing me 5+ years of experience, but I think it's close to 6 now. And my projects got listed. It has all the things now coming in, right? Because I have made it specifically in this context so that it has entire summary about me in this particular chat, right? Now I will go and do the second step of my this thing, right? I want to make my resume. Let's say I want to tailor it. First, I need to find maybe new job opening, right? All of that. So what I will do is, right, I'll copy the prompt and I will find the next, let's say, particular opportunity for myself also, right? I'll just copy this. I will go back here, right? So first step is clear. I have given the context about myself. Now, since it has the context about me, I will look around this, right? As my career advisor, I would like you to reword the CV I have just given you. Please tailor it to the following job advert to maximize the chances for the interview, right? So for the people who don't know, there is something called ATS, right? ATS stands for Application Tracking System, which is an AI-based system, you can say a programmatic system, which gives a score to your resume, right? So if I have a high score, then only my resume is getting shortlisted. If I have a low score, my resume is rejected by an AI system. And that is the reason, I mean, if you folks are getting a lot of rejection emails, that means your resume has never went into the hands of a person. It was rejected by AI itself, right? So I want to include any keywords mentioned in the new job and organize it in a clear, structured way. What next job I have, or what about the job? Let's find it out, right? I'll take any example. Let me go to my LinkedIn, go and grab some job opportunity here, right? I'll go to the jobs tab and let's pick it up anyone, right? So I'll quick click on show all, right? Let's take this principal data analyst. Okay, let's take AI ML specialist, seller operation. No, I don't. Yeah, let's take this trustworthy shopping experience. Yeah, let's take Amazon only, right? Since I took the example of Amazon previously also, right? So let's say I'm interested in this particular job now. What I'll do, I know that this is asking all the details what a person should be doing when it comes to joining this company and the role and what it is all about, the team. And I want AI to reword my resume, include some keywords into this structure, right? Reword my entire resume, right? This is the instruction I have given, and I will paste this job advert as it is, right? So I'm just making a placeholder for the model to understand where it is starting and where it is ending. And I'll give this response. Right, so now it is creating a reworded ATS optimized resume for myself for this new role, right? Now, as an applicant, now as an, you can say, as an engineer or whatever role you are applying to, right? Any other role also, you can follow the same steps, right? If you want to apply for a marketing role or anything else, I will spend some time and take